your girl Casey Pat. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to cut this beautiful Ankara high-low Ankara gown. And I'll be using 2.5 yards of fabric because that's what I had available, and it can definitely work for its small size. But if you're a plus size, I would advise you use 3 yards or more, depending on how wide you want this fabric to, how full you want the dress to be. So I divided my 2.5 into 2, and I'm just going to fold the way you would see me fold. This is just like a very simple maternity kind of gown, or like a gown you can easily wear out. So you just fold it this way and measure the full length that you want to work with. And for this video I'm working with length 38. By the time I fold it, that's 38 inches. By the time I fold it, it would reduce to 37 or 36. And then what I did was to place my tape the way you see me place it, and then I cut, or I marked out the 38 in a diagonal form. I'm basically explaining this majorly for the beginners on this channel, because I know that some other persons who intermediate advanced will already know what I'm doing. So I'm basically explaining this for lots of the beginners on this channel. So I marked 38, and as you can, my Ankara is shorter at this point, so I'll be adding Ankara to that part, like some pieces to that part, to make sure that the length is complete. But I'll go ahead to cut out what I have already marked on this part. The next thing I'll do is to measure the line where my rope I would pass my rope through, the rope that will sit on my neck part, and I measured 5 inches on that line. You can use 6 or whichever how wide you want it, but 5 inches is what I use. And remember, it's on fold, that means it will give me 10 at the end of the day. And so that part would have some kind of ruffles, which is the style of the dress. So next thing I'm just going to do is to cut this out real quick, and afterwards I'll also go over to cut the other part of the dress. So I'll basically use the pieces to compensate for the opening that I have there, or the part that I have there that is not complete. I'll just use the pieces that I cut out from the fabric to complete it. So I'll just cut it out that way. Whatever I'm doing to this piece, trust me to do it on the other side of this other piece. But I'll be explaining that other side because we are going to have a lower back at that other side. So basically you just keep your fabric same way you kept your fabric the other time to cut the front piece, and then you just use it to duplicate the back. But this time around you're going to mark your waist measurement, where you want the opening to start. For me, I'm working with 16 inches. If you want it lower, you could work with 18 inches, depending on how low you want that opening to be. But because I don't want mine to get to like way below my ass area, I was kind of cautious, so I marked just 16, which is the line that you would see me marking there. So I'll make a notch on that particular point, which is 16, but trust me to not cut at exactly the notch that I have made. Why is this so? Because we'll be folding that part, and by the time you fold that part, it's going to reduce what you've marked. So you're going to cut above the 16 inches or whatever inches mark that you have made, so that by the time you fold it and you add your elastic, it would be at exactly the mark you have made. I hope that's well understood, right? So I'm just going to mark that, and I will quickly cut it out. The next thing to do is to basically if you need these dresses, actually it comes off better with pockets, and I also went ahead to cut my pockets. So if your material is not enough, maybe you could skip the process, but trust me to say that you'd always love this kind of dresses with pockets. So I'm just going to use the remaining to cut my pocket, and just watch the way I'll place my hand to trace the pockets. So I'll just trace the pocket like that to make sure that my hand will be able to like the pocket size will be able to accommodate my hand. And I'll cut these pockets. I'll cut 2 out and use this 2 to duplicate another 2. That this is for both sides of the dress, yeah. So basically, after cutting your pocket, the next thing you would have to do is also to cut out a strap for your neck piece. And the strap that I'm going to use, I wouldn't want it to be so wide. I think I made provision for just a strap of as little as 3 inches on fold. So that's the strap. That's the size of strap that I used. After cutting all of this out, the next thing you will do is to actually go over to your sewing machine to join all of this together, and we'll be doing that real quick. So this is the strap that I worked with. Like I said, I wanted a tiny strap, so I worked with something as tiny as 1.5 inches, but 3 inches on fold, 1.5 when you open it. So I've gone to my sewing machine and I've gone to join the part that I talked about that was lesser, so that it would compensate for our full length. I did the same thing to the other side of the dress, and basically this is what we have. So also, I would also be going to the sewing machine to show you what to do to your neck part, and your waist part, and how to join your pockets, as well as the entire dress. And like I said, basically this is for beginners, because the channel is also for them to grow along with us. So this is me folding the waist part of this dress. So when you're done folding the waist part, the next thing you will do is to take your time to add the elastic. So you just get the elastic that is going to fit that the back part of your waist, and that's what you'll be attaching in the opening that you have made. I hope that makes sense. My explanation is well understood. So you just fix the elastic there, and the next thing you would have to do is to work on the other part of the dress. So by the time you get this other part of the dress, the first thing you have to do is to fold the neck part where the tiny rope would sit on your neck, where you're going to tie the rope on your neck. So that's the first thing to do. Afterwards, all you have to do is to fix in your pockets. You're going to measure where you want the pocket to sit. That's you're going to subtract the 3 inches as to where your neck is going to sit, and then mark where you want your pocket to. For me, I usually work with 21 inches because I'm a tall person, and I'd always want the pocket to go low so that it will accommodate my hand, like without me having to stretch my hands. So yeah, that's where I usually like my pockets to sit, and I marked it. Whatever you're marking on this side, make sure you're also marking it on the other side of your dress, so that by the time you try to join the front and the back piece together, everything is going to rhyme. I hope that makes sense. So by the time I'm done putting in the pocket, the next thing I'll have to do is to get the front piece and the back piece, and I'm just going to make sure that I take my time to join both of them. And whatever I do to this other side, that is also what I am going to do. Whatever I do to one side of the dress is also what I'm going to do to the other side of the dress. And I hope that what I'm doing here is self-explanatory or quite understood. So at this point, I had attached the elastic, and I had also marked where these two dresses would meet. So to be on the safe side, if you're a beginner and you're watching this video, I'll advise that you start from the lower part of the dress. So by the time you join the lower part, it will easily take you as to where these two dresses will meet. So that's as to where the front and the back piece will meet. So this is me joining the pockets, and whatever, like I mentioned, whatever I'm doing to this side is also what I will do to the other side. And by the time I'm done joining this, the next thing I will do is to add the rope for this dress, and then attach it to the opening of the opening that I made for where the rope will sit on the front part of this dress. And that will be all for this tutorial. I hope this tutorial was actually helpful. If this tutorial was helpful to you, please do well to like, share, and subscribe to my channel to encourage me to keep putting out lovely videos like this. So yeah, enjoy the rest of the video and see you in my next video. Okay, bye.